Ba-ba-ba. There we go. How's everybody doing today? Hey Stick, hey Pika. So you guys are the first ones here. Hope you're both having a good night. Ba-ba-da-ba. We need to find where the beginning of this is. Oh god. Ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba. We have so many things that everybody sent in, so let's see here. Oh, we actually watched that one just last week, I think, so we're good on that one at least. A whole bunch of others, though. Ba-ba-ba. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can't find a longer one to start us off, and then we can start getting through all the shorts. Why are all these ones saying image failed to load? That's kind of terrifying from a internet perspective. That should not be the way it is for that. But it seems like every single other TikTok is doing that. That's so odd. How far back? Oh, wait! I remember this. You know what? New idea. Let's go. Actually, no. We'll do that later. First things first, we need to see what else we can find. Let's see. He's still alive. Top reaches in the box. Yeah, I remember that one. That's the one my own mother was like, oh, yeah, you should leave that one be. Let's see here. Oh, I should switch out the background. 1 second. There we go. But which one? Definitely not that one. I'll just go with my usual. That's fine. Let's see here. I know that there's others that we've missed out on because we didn't have time at the time. I think there was a couple towards the very beginning. Yeah. That were ones that we weren't able to watch at the time. Let's see. We're going. Where is it? There's so many. Oh, it's a good thing that they're being marked and checked. Jesus. Bunch of anime ones from Jaeger right there. I think... God, I'm going back to the past with this one. Jesus. Alright, let's see here. I think... we're nearing where it was that one time. Jesus, I am going months into the past at this point. Jesus. Okay, I'm just going to do this. And just keep on going back until we start reaching videos that are relatively older. There we go. Yeah. Okay, that was Hunter the Parenting right there. Hell yeah. That was from Valerie. Oh, yeah. Regardless, let's see here. What was that? Oh, right, that weird one. Where... dogs that would walk you. Did we ever watch that one? It doesn't look like we did. I didn't mark it as complete. Yeah, let's watch that. We'll start with this one then. Doesn't look like we watched it at the very least. Is there any... Actually, no. Did we? God, it's been so long since I've looked at any of these ones. And we missed a few. And I want to try and get through the backlog that we have. God damn it. Ugh. Okay. Oh, God. We started this reaction channel, like, literally, like, a year ago. And I'm not even a year of stuff in, I think. First gun images. Wait. Okay, we watched those two. We watched these ones. Here we go. These are the ones that I was thinking of. Okay, here we go. Or at least ones from this one. Real Rambo. Oh, right. I remember now. I was recommended one from a person called, for the Fat Electrician, but it was for somebody named Cassius Clay. Let's see if we can find that one real quick. Where is it? Okay, I'll just do this. Electrician, Cassius Clay. There we go. Here we go. That's the one. Okay. Wow, it's taking a long time to load, actually. That's weird. Ah!
Riveting story. It was really good. All right, we gotta go. I gotta tell
I
the
mean,
internet about the guy I named you after. Okay?
Fair enough.
Go hang out with
I'm sorry. His baby's named after
Today we're talking
Cassius
about the most
Clay.
gangster politician in American history. Ladies and gentlemen, Cassius Marcellus Clay,
Hell yeah.
a.k.a. the Lion of Whitehall. Whitehall being his family home that he grew up in Kentucky as the son of one of the richest slave owners in all of America. While going to college
yeah.
at Yale to become a lawyer, he would attend a speech from a famous
Well, not that,
abolitionist by
but
the name
like,
of William Lloyd
what the
Garrison.
fuck? Wait,
and that speech would change
that doesn't
the
make
entire
sense. I thought this guy was supposed to be a person that got rid of slavery as a thing. What?
Of Cassius Clay's life, as well as American history. It is at that moment that Cassius Clay decided he was not only going to be quietly opposed to slavery, but that he was actively going to fight against it. He would be set down the path to become the most influential abolitionist of all time. Oh God, forgot.
Okay, good.
Sorry for bothering the video. Real quick, this video is brought to you by the biggest sponsor of the channel and my favorite sporting goods store, Shields. They've got over 30 retail locations across the United States and an even better online store that I'm going to have linked down below. And if you use my code, you're going to get free shipping. They've got everything you can imagine there. This is where I got this shirt. It's where I got this backpack. All of it was on sale. It was a great deal. Again, use my code down below. You're going to get free shipping. Back to the video. Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot to mention Muhammad Ali's original name was Cassius Clay.
Really?
Yeah, he was actually named after this guy too.
Okay,
Anyways,
cool.
back to the video. Bye-bye.
That's
awesome. If you don't know, at this point in time, there's basically two different camps you could fall into for being anti-slavery. You could be an abolitionist or an emancipationist. An emancipationist is somebody that wants to vote it out over time, over the next 5, 10, 20 years, versus an abolitionist, which is somebody that believes we need to end slavery right now, and they're willing to fight about it. And in the case of Cassius Clay, he was willing to fight anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Real quick.
You see, Cassius Clay wasn't just some nobody punk kid that went off to college and decided that he didn't like slavery. This was the son of one of the wealthiest slave owners in all of America. So for him to come out and voice anti-slavery views was a huge deal, and it pissed off a lot of people. So, being that this was the 1820s, what do you do when you're pissed off? You challenge somebody to a duel. So needless to say, the young Cassius Clay found himself partaking in an awful lot of duels, and he never, ever lost.
Hell yeah.
So, obviously, he's pretty good at it, and what do you do when you find something you're pretty good at? You want to keep doing it, right? Right. So Cassius Clay starts challenging anyone and everyone to a duel that dares to oppose him. It became common knowledge in his community that Cassius Clay would be willing to fight the wind if it blew from the west and he wanted it to blow from the east. This man went on a dueling rampage.
He's the kind of person that would
much
fuck
so
shit
by
up,
the time
huh?
he graduated college, he was considered to be the deadliest duelist in all of North America. This guy was putting slave owners in the dirt like he was Johnny Appleseed planting fucking trees. He became known as the deadliest abolitionist of all time. So he graduates from college, goes back home as a lawyer. Shortly after that, his father passes away and leaves everything to Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay immediately frees all of his father's slaves, costing himself $40,000, which is roughly $2 million today. And then he even gives some of the slaves land and money on top of it, absolutely infuriating the pro-slavery people in Kentucky. So what do you do when half the local population hates your guts? You run for public office, and that's exactly what Cassius Clay did. He served in the Kentucky State Legislature from 1835 to 1841, and then finally lost his re-election, to which the pro-slavery crowd breathed a huge sigh of relief because they finally defeated Cassius Clay.
Defeat is a strong word.
Starts traveling the country, giving amazing anti-slavery speeches, winning over hearts and minds, and this absolutely infuriates the pro-slavery people because they don't know how to stop him. You can't legally stop a guy from talking to people that want to listen to him, and they can't legally kill Cassius Clay in a duel because he's the best duelist on earth. What do? You've got to illegally kill him. The problem with that is they can't find a hitman that's dumb enough to think that they can take out Cassius Clay, so they have to go to the one crevice of the planet where they can find somebody truly insane enough to think that they can do this job. And that man's name was Sam Brown, an assassin from New Orleans.
I'm gonna be honest. That sounds about right, but also, Sam Brown? Damn. This guy didn't stand a chance, it feels like. Holy shit.
1834, Russell Cave, Kentucky. Cassius Clay's finishing up one of his world-famous speeches as he pulls out a burlap sack, reaches into the sack and pulls out a holy Bible and says, "For those of you that believe in the laws of God, I make to you this argument against slavery," sets the Bible on the table, reaches back in the sack, pulls out a copy of the U.S. Constitution, and says, "For those of you that believe in the laws of man, I present to you this argument against slavery," sets the Constitution down on the table, drops the burlap sack to the ground and says, "For those of you that believe in neither the laws of God or man, I make to you this argument against slavery," as he pulls out both of his pistols and sets them on the table, which I think we can all agree is gangster as fuck.
Yeah, no, I would totally be with that guy right then and there. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's amazing. That is... I agree. Gangster as fuck.
And at this moment, Sam Brown comes up on stage and shoots Cassius Clay point blank in the chest. Luckily, Cassius Clay never leaves home without his trusted Bowie knife, which resides inside of a metal sheath. And that metal sheath would catch Sam Brown's bullet, saving Cassius Clay's life. At which point, Cassius Clay would draw his Bowie knife and charge Sam Brown. 6 of Sam Brown's friends in the audience tried to stop Cassius Clay.
It's amazing.
He would fight his way through all 6 of them, making his way to Sam Brown, promptly stabbing him in the chest, and then turning him into a Mr. Potato Head by cutting off his nose, lopping off his ear, and gouging out one of his eyes. Then the 6 men recovered and were able to peel Clay off of him. Not knowing what to do, knowing they couldn't stop Cassius Clay forever, they panicked, probably for fear that Cassius Clay was going to start shoving this guy's facial features up his ass next. They did the only thing they could come up with to get the two apart. They picked up their friend Sam Brown, threw him over a 7-foot-high stone wall. He fell down an embankment and into a creek bed to finally get Cassius Clay away from him. Somehow, Sam Brown survived, but not only was he lucky for that, he was also dumb as fuck because he then decided to take Cassius Clay to court because apparently after Cassius Clay stabbed him the first time, they were even on the whole assassination attempt thing.
That feels...
So Cassius Clay should go to prison for mayhem. So
that's some
Cassius
bullshit.
Clay calls
That's
upon
some
his older
bullshit.
cousin, one of the best lawyers on the planet that had never lost in open court with over 40 years of experience, Henry Clay. Henry Clay goes into court and his entire defense for his cousin is, and I quote, "Your Honor, this is just standard behavior for a Kentucky." And the judge is just like, "You're innocent. Free to go. That's it. Best court case ever." Literally.
Listen, sir. My client is a jackass from Kentucky. That's just how that works there. I'm sorry, sir. You would have to arrest the entire state if you wanted to arrest my client. And they fucking bought that.
He walks in and just goes,
"Oh,
huh? Isn't this America?
I love it. I love it."
I thought this was America.
So after Cassius Clay was found innocent, Henry Clay decides that he's going to run for president, and Cassius is going to help him campaign. Cassius is going to tour the country, giving speeches, saying, "Hey, you know, vote for my cousin." Here's the rule with that. Henry Clay told him he's only allowed to tour the northern states because he's actually legitimately concerned that if he sends Cassius to the south, he's going to shoot so many fucking slave owners and duels that it could be considered voter fraud. So Henry Clay ends up losing the presidential election, and Cassius moves on to his next life adventure, which is becoming an author and writing anti-slavery
that's a terrifying
news articles.
concern.
The problem with that was none of the newspapers were willing to publish him, so he says, "Fuck you, I'll start my own newspaper, The True American." Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, starting an anti-slavery newspaper in fucking Kentucky in 1845 was not very popular, and his business would receive death threats pretty much every day, some of which were written in blood. So Cassius Clay, in true Cassius Clay fashion, says, "Fuck it, I guess we're gonna fight about it." He then proceeds to up-armor his entire business and his printing office. He covers the entire front of the building in a large iron sheet. He installs several cannons down corridors, stocks the entire thing with loaded guns, and rigs it to explode. Here's the thing, he also doesn't expect his employees to fight to the death for him, so he installs an escape hatch and instructs them to escape if anything goes down, because he's going to fight the entire mob by himself. How's he going to do that? As soon as you walk...
It's kind of wild how into his own stuff this guy is, just generally. Like, not into his own stuff. Like, it's weird to hear about a boss that not only protected their employees, but explicitly wanted them to abandon him if shit went south. That's interesting from, like, a modern day perspective, because I would not expect any of the bosses in, like, even, like, I don't know, 200-mile radius to give a damn, it feels like, at times, when it comes to a whole lot of stuff. But to hear that Cassius Clay not only up-armored his printing press and everything else into a full-on fortress, but that he explicitly wanted his own employees to bail on him if anything happened, is wild.
In the only door to get into that printing office, you find yourself in a long, narrow corridor with iron on each side, just wide enough for a single man to get through. Cassius Clay is going to stand in that narrow corridor and fight the entire mob, one man at a time.
I'm feeling like a pausing Andy, but just get in a nice orderly line. I will deal with all of you when you arrive is amazing.
Literally the mentality of, if you have a problem, take a number, I'll kill you in a minute.
Hell
this
yeah.
man recreated the entire battle of fucking Thermopylae with 300 Spartans, except he's gonna do it all by himself. If you think fucking with John Wick's dog is a bad idea, the last thing you want to do is fuck with Cassius Clay's printing press, because this man is determined to defend the freedom of speech with the right to bear arms at any cost. Obviously, this escalates to Cassius Clay defeating an entire mob single-handedly, right? Wrong. The mob, being full of, you know, super brave pro-slavery men that know they're doing the right thing, do the honorable brave thing, and wait till Cassius Clay is bedridden with typhoid fever, so they know he isn't going to show up. They show up to his business at night and burn the place to the ground because they're a bunch of fucking bitches. Now, Cassius Clay recovers from typhoid fever. He reestablishes a newspaper in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, I'm being weirded out again by my goddamn tracking software. It had a recent update again, and I understand that they're really trying to make themselves more and more accurate, but like, God, that's fucking weird to see how accurate it can be. Like, Jesus, dude. That is concerningly accurate. Fuck. Anyway.
Which is an anti-slavery stronghold. The only problem with that is, being an anti-slavery stronghold, there's not going to be any conflict, and that's fucking boring, so Cassius Clay moves on to another life adventure, volunteering in the Mexican-American War.
Damn.
While serving in the Mexican-American War, he would be a captain leading a group of Kentucky soldiers, and they would be captured pretty much immediately, and he would spend the duration of the entire war as a POW. While serving as a POW, some of the men under his command would escape, meaning that the Mexican military was then going to put the rest of his unit to death.
Shit.
Cassius Clay said, "Hey, don't kill my men. Just kill me and my other fellow officers. We're the ones in charge. It's our fault that those men escaped. It's our responsibility. Please let the lower enlisted men go home." The Mexican military was so impressed by this that they decided to spare everyone, including Cassius Clay, and he would return home a war hero.
God, Cassius Clay is just a badass in general, isn't he? Oh my god. I absolutely love this guy. Like, holy shit. He is... Like, no wonder he named his kid after him. Like, damn, dude.
Home from the war in 1848, he didn't really know what to do, so he starts giving his famous speeches again, this time leveraging his newfound title as a war hero. So obviously it doesn't take long for him to piss everybody off. He faces yet another assassination attempt. This time, 6 brothers from a wealthy slave-owning family show up, the Turner brothers. They show up with clubs and knives and guns, and they beat the living shit out of Cassius Clay with the clubs. They stabbed him multiple times. Cassius Clay whips out his trusted Bowie knife, starts opening up these brothers like they're fucking Amazon packages, making his way to the lead brother and stabbing him an excessive amount of times. We don't know how many times, but we do know it was a lifetime supply. Killing the lead brother, ending the assassination attempt, Cassius Clay would fall to the ground.
What the fuck is considered an excessive amount of times to be stabbed? It had to have been higher than 10, I feel like. Because, like... I mean, it feels like being stabbed 5 times is excessive, depending on your aim. But, like, it sounds like he just wanted him to suffer before he died. Holy shit, dude. Oh, wow.
Nearly dead, and this would be the closest anybody ever came to actually killing Cassius Clay. When he was asked about it later on in life, all he said was, "I felt the utmost indignation," which translates to, "I was fucking annoyed." This man died from an
Hey, Joel.
assassination attempt, and he has the same attitude towards it that I have towards fucking fruit flies, okay? This dude is so metal, he deserves his own spot on the periodic table of elements. Cassius
Hell
Clay
yeah.
then makes a full recovery from his injuries, starts giving his speeches again.
Give me the
1853,
Cassius
he
medal.
donates a large chunk of his land to John Fee, who uses it to found Berea College, the first co-educational and multiracial college in the South ever. Fast forward to 1860, Cassius Clay is giving speeches in Illinois where he meets a politician by the name of Abraham Lincoln, and they get along great. Cassius Clay is then slotted to become Abraham Lincoln's vice president. However, he's a little bit too Cassius Clay to be an actual big-name politician like that, so they give the job to Hannibal Hamlin, and Cassius Clay becomes the ambassador to Russia.
There's an alternate reality where Cassius Clay was out there dueling people as the VP of the United States of America. And I'm gonna be honest, that might have been a cooler timeline just generally. Oh, that would have been
1861
amazing.
rolls around, the Civil War breaks out. Cassius Clay is in Russia. Cassius Clay not only convinces Russia to not side with the Confederates, but he convinces Russia to tell Great Britain and France that if they so much as recognize the Confederacy, Russia will go to war with them. And this was a humongous step that nobody talks about in the winning of the Civil War. And it is 100% because of Cassius Clay. Fast forward to 1862. Abraham Lincoln wants to appoint Clay a major general in the Union Army.
Imagine Lincoln gets assassinated and the new president is known for dueling at the drop of a hat. Oh my god. What if he dueled John Wilkes Booth and killed him himself? That would have been insane. Oh my god, that would have been wild. Holy shit. Oh, he would have done some nuts shit, I guarantee it. That would have been amazing. He already did insane stuff all the time. I mean, who up-armors a printing press and your newspaper just generally? Only for the people that were going to attack your newspaper to be so shit scared they waited until you were at home, sick, before they burnt the place down.
Cassius Clay publicly refuses the President of the United States, saying that he's not going to do it until the President signs the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing the slaves of the South. Cassius Clay is literally the man that bullied Abraham Lincoln into prematurely signing the Emancipation Proclamation before he wanted to.
Fuck yes.
And nobody talks about it. Fast forward again to 1865, the Union wins the Great American Scrimmage, the slaves are freed.
Hello,
Cassius Clay
Jasper.
has achieved his lifelong goal at the age of 55, bringing an end to slavery in the United States of America. He then goes back to Russia again to serve as ambassador until 1869, and while he is there, he helps to broker the purchase of Alaska. This man is probably the most influential person in American history that you've never heard of. After returning home from Russia, Cassius Clay would live out the rest of his days in Whitehall until the age of 80 years old, where he would be declared clinically insane, in hindsight most likely due to a severe amount of PTSD, as well as potentially dementia. He didn't die from it, he lived on for quite a bit longer. He just picked up a new hobby of fucking with the local sheriff because he was crazy now. Over the course of the next decade, Clay and the sheriff would have multiple run-ins that would be concluded when the sheriff and 7 deputies were repelled from Whitehall when Clay utilized his home defense cannon that he had at the top of his stairwell. At that point, the local sheriff would inform the local judge he will not be returning to Whitehall to tangle with Cassius Clay anymore unless the judge is willing.
I'm sorry. He was just unofficial. No, he was legally declared insane, and he stayed in his manor and proceeded to just bully the local sheriff and his deputies to the point where the sheriff and his deputies just decided, you know what? Fucking leave us alone. We're never going back there again. If he has a problem, he can take it up with some other jackass. We're done here. He can have his personal home defense cannon, and he can go fuck himself. What the fuck? Oh my gosh. A home defense cannon. Holy shit.
to dispatch an entire company of the
Wait, no, he's the literal meme. He's the literal meme of the guy who's defending his home with a musket and a fucking cannon like the founding fathers intended. That's the joke, yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it.
Then in 1900, two men would break into Whitehall, and Cassius Clay at the age of 89 would manage to kill both of them, one by gunshot and one, yet again, with his trusted Bowie knife. Then in 1903, at the age of 92, Cassius Clay would die of natural causes, or as they called it back then, general exhaustion, which is the most gangster way on the planet to go out. Literally just, I'm tired now, peace. And then he left.
I'm pretty tired. Thank God.
Damn. Goes out at the end of his life, still getting at least one more body. That's incredible. That's wild. Oh my gosh, 80s and still kicking ass and taking names. Fuck.
In conclusion, when it comes to famous historical household names, there's always another man or woman lurking behind the scenes in the shadows that's deemed too rough around the edges to be in the spotlight, yet they contribute just as much, if not more.
Bros KD is insane. Yes. Oh my god. Bare minimum, I think like his kill to death ratio is at least one death to like, what was that? Something along the lines of like 70 to 200 people, something like that. Shit's wild.
More to the movement. These men and women are willing to do horrific things for terrific reasons. And when it came to Abraham Lincoln and the abolition of slavery, that man's name was Cassius Marcellus Clay.
Fuck yeah.
The most gangster politician in American history. Thanks for watching the video. Best way to support the channel is to buy some merch at fatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
Hell yeah. Oh, that was great. That was a fantastic one. Shit. Oh my gosh. I love Cassius Clay now. I barely knew anything about him other than he was a hardcore abolitionist. And now I know significantly more, and he's just, oh my god. Amazing. Amazing. Holy shit. Wonder if there's any other ones that we can watch real quick from Fat Electrician. Because right now, Jaeger isn't here, and they're predominantly the one that has a shit ton of stuff. You got your stuff ready, Pika? Alright. Well, feel free to drop all those ones that you have real quick, okay? Presumably you have more than two, but we'll see, we'll see. Wonder if they have any additional ones real quick. There's one about Craigslist. Get off my lawn, angry old veteran versus 700 redcoats. Well, that sounds scuffed. Jesus. Bazooka tank, the thing. Wait! I remember. 1 second. There was this thing that I think it was Marcus Norman, I think his name. Marcus Norman. Is that his name? Hey, that's the guy. We saw a single vid from them the other day, and I ended up seeing a few other ones in my feed. They have a whole bunch of us. It's a long one, but love this one if you want Fat Electrician. Oh, hell yeah. Let me grab up Pika's, and then we'll watch that one after we're done watching Pika's once. Derp Dog! They're amazing. I love them. Oh my god. Look at that face. Holy shit. They're thriving. Thoughts gone, empty, brain smooth. No thoughts attached to this noggin. This is amazing. This is prime Derp Dog. I love them. Oh my god. They're so happy. They're glorious. Oh, they're beautiful. I love them. I love them so much. Unbothered, moisturized, thriving. Hell yeah. Good god. They're cursed.
Meu Deus do céu.
It's the same dog from before.
Deixa eu contar aqui.
What have you done to them?
De tanto... Ai, ele tá rindo de verdade.
What they need is clearly bottle Coke glasses. That way, they can see properly. They're always squinting. Damn, damn.
Gente, eu fiz essa peruca, mas ele não era...
They match, yes. I can't understand a word she's saying, but this is just fucking hilarious. Where are the comments? Oh no, the comments! The comments! He's like the dehydrated...
Gente, eu fiz essa peruquinha porque eu vi uma foto igualzinha que fizeram de
Oh,
arte.
damn, damn. He's like the dehydrated version of you. Twinning for real. This is so awesome. He could open your phone with Face ID. Literally the same person. When they say pets look like their owners, oh god. I mean, this in the nicest way possible, but you guys are twins. Oh, damn, damn. Someone said he's the dehydrated version of you. Like mother, like daughter. Are you mocking me? Oh my god. Oh my goodness, what the fuck? What is this? Oh, it skipped past a few things, it looks like. 1 second. There we go. We haven't gone out together in a long time since you retired. I suddenly remembered the time we went to buy cheesecake together, so I want to go out with you. Haha, that's the Bakashin I know. Hurry up, Tereza, otherwise the cake will sell out again. There we go. We are lucky, BTW. My wedding is next weekend. Remember to come. Oh, sure. In the night. But I wanted to. Tereza too. Oh no, she's sad. Poor Bakushin. Yep, yep. Ah! Immediately goes from happy to sad. Yaris forsakes the will of Digitan. All Umos must be given their happy endings. You'd marry Bakushin? Fair enough, fair enough.
Jones said he can split this log in one chop. Let's see
Alright,
buddy.
let's see what happens. You got this, boy? You can do it!
What the f are you flinching for?
What the fuck? What just happened? What just happened? What? And Stego
Jones
and a lot
said
of
he
them
can
law.
split this log
Fair.
in one chop. Let's see it, buddy.
Alright, let's see it.
What the
Oh,
f are you
Jesus,
flinching for?
Fuck you. Wait, no, I didn't see that last time. Fuck you. Jesus Christ. Why did I flinch? Fuck.
It's just a damn video. Damn, I got your ass good.
Screw you. Rude.
I can't lie, it got me too. Okay, I was all over here like this. Like a fucking cat getting sprayed by a squirt gun.
Jones said he can split
yep,
this log.
yep. Like a fucking cat getting sprayed by a squirt gun. Jesus. What are you laughing about? What are you laughing about? Alright. Let's see what you sent in, Joel. What is this? It's a longer one, apparently. But we got the time today, so why not?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if this is the luckiest man of all time or the unluckiest man of all time, but one thing's for sure, he just might be the toughest.
Oh yeah?
Today
Indestructible
we're gonna go over this
Marine.
Indestructible Marine Jack
Jack Lucas. Oh, okay.
Lucas. He served 3 years in the United States Marine Corps, 6 months of which was inside of a prison cell. He
Damn.
stormed the beach at Iwo Jima. He survived jumping on top of 2 live grenades. He earned the Medal of Honor, and he did all of it before his...
Jesus. Flashbanged by words. Holy shit. I'm sorry. It's already statistically improbable to survive 1 grenade that you laid on, by the way, Jesus, but 2. Jesus, the guy had shrapnel in his body for the numbers of the days of the year. Jesus.
his first day of high school, which is really just the beginning of the story. But before we get to all that, let's get this sponsorship out of the way. This video is brought to you by Sundays, food for dogs. It's...
Alright, 1 second. Let me check how old this video is so I know if he's making money from this or not. He is not making money from this at this point. Okay, so we're good to go. I'm willing to skip past this.
Dog food. I mean, look, bag fly or a tail because my bag, but right here. 14th,
There we go.
All right, Jacqueline Harold Lucas, born on February 14th, 1928 in Plymouth, North Carolina. It is the same exact story I've told time and time again. These guys all had the same childhood. He grew up during the Great Depression. He really liked boxing. He got in a ton of trouble and got in a lot of fights. When he was 8 years old, his uncle gifted him a Marine Corps dress uniform hat, and he absolutely loved it. He wore the thing to school every day for months, and from that moment on, he always wanted to be a Marine. Fast forward to when he was 11, his dad would pass away from cancer, and Jack, understandably so, didn't take it that well and started getting in even more trouble and more fights. By the time he was 13, his mother, who was still in her mid-30s, was trying to find a new husband, and every time she would bring a guy home, the young 13-year-old Jack, who was a pretty big kid for his age and pretty skilled at boxing, would threaten to beat the shit out of him.
I'm 10 years old, but I'll beat your ass.
That, combined with all the other trouble and fights that he was already getting into, his mother had no choice but to send him off to military school. It is there at the Edwards Military Institute that Jack and all the other cadets would gather around the radio to hear the news broadcast that the Japanese had attacked Pearl Harbor. Jack described this moment as the end of his childhood, and from this moment on, it became his sole ambition in life to go fight the Japanese to avenge Pearl Harbor. The only problem is he's 13 and you gotta be 17 to join the United States Marine Corps, so he did the only thing he could do. He finished out classes, graduated the 8th grade, and went back home for summer. He gets home, mom doesn't just have a new boyfriend, mom has a new husband. It is a used car salesman and alcoholic by the name of Radford Jones. And it is very clear to the young Jack Lucas that this man has married his mother for the insurance money that they got from his father passing.
Oh, what a scumbag. Shit. Okay. Damn, dude.
Doing his damnedest to burn his way through it. So obviously Jack is not a big fan of this guy and threatens to beat the shit out of him multiple times, which is actually a threat that carries some weight because now at 14 he is 5'8", 180 pounds and pretty good at boxing. So obviously the home life situation...
Okay, shit. Alright. 5'8", 180 pounds. That's not average. It's the upper end of that. Sorry, Gep, but I've turned my PC, my headphones, and Twitch to full volume, and I can barely hear. Really? Okay, 1 second. Let me turn it up a bit so I can help you with that. Let me adjust that real quick. I'll turn down the music that I'm currently listening to as well, so there we go.
Tense. The one redeeming quality of Radford Jones is that he had 2 sons that he brought into the marriage, so Jack now had 2 stepbrothers.
Can you hear it?
And over the course of that summer, he truly came to think of them as his brothers, and then the oldest brother, Billy, would go off and join the Navy. By this point in time, summer's coming to an end. He's getting ready to go back to military school, and he dreads the idea. He doesn't want to go to military school. He wants to go to the military. He wants to be a Marine, and he wants to fight the Japanese to avenge Pearl Harbor. So he decides that's exactly what he's going to do. He goes to the Marine Corps recruiter, lies, says he's 17 years old, gets the parental permission slip to take back home to have his mom sign it. Mom obviously...
How old was he when he did this? I think didn't he say he was like 14 5 seconds ago? Jesus. Big 14-year-old. 5'8", 180 pounds. Yeah, that's a big boy. Shit. Okay.
Refuses to sign it.
Wait, how tall would he have been when he reached like 21 at that rate? He would have been like 6 foot easy, probably. 14 or 15, one of those? Yeah. Shit. He's a hefty lad by the time he's full grown.
To go back to school, not go fight in World War II. So Jack promises his mom, hey, give me your blessing to go do this, and I promise you as soon as I get back, I'll finish school. At which point his mom is like, okay, fine, you have my blessing, but I'm not gonna lie for you. This permission slip says you need to be 17 years old, and you're 14. If you wait till you're 17, I will sign and give you my blessing to go off to war.
No! What are you waiting for?
Jack's reaction.
Yes, you can!
For Jack, this wasn't good enough, so he forges her signature right in front of her and then tells stepdad Radford Jones to hop in the car and give him a ride to the recruiter's office. They get there, Jack goes in, hands over the parental consent form to the Marine Corps recruiter, and the Marine Corps recruiter's like, great, where's your birth certificate? And Jack is like, what? And the Marine Corps recruiter is like, yeah, we need your birth certificate too. Okay, important context here. There was a ton of people that lied about their age and got into the military way before they should have in the Army and the Navy, but for some reason the Marine Corps during World War II demanded birth certificates and verified your age to a degree that most other branches.
Actually, no. Now I think about it, the Marine Corps probably would be the one that would actually verify ages, because I feel like, I've seen a lot of stuff for the Marine Corps. They're definitely the most cult-like, I'll go with that, of the groups. And with the harshest training shit. If you put somebody that is still growing underneath the stress that the Marine Corps puts them under, just generally, I think that would probably cause a lot of problems later in life, usually. So, like, I can understand them doing that, just making sure, double-checking. But, like, I think the Marine Corps back then was still relatively early, right? Oh, God. I can't remember when the Marine Corps was actually made. I think they were just the general army, for the most part, back then. Or at least close enough. I think they've been around for a while. One second, let me look it up. Let me look up how long the Marine Corps has been around for. Because I think I remember seeing that it was something along the lines of, like, they're almost as old as the US, right? How long has the Marine Corps been around? Shit! 250 years! Yeah. Wait, they actually predate the Declaration of American Independence. Holy shit! Marines have been around since the Navy was established. Oh my god, they predate the US. How the fuck? That's amazing. Yeah, no shit, they're a cult. Holy fuck.
Just simply didn't. I have read multiple accounts of this, and I have even personally been told by a World War II Marine that was at Mount Suribachi when they raised the flag at Iwo Jima that if you wanted to be a Marine, you had to be 17.
He said, what can I do for you, young man? I said, I want to sign up. He said, how old are you? I said, 16. He says, I can't take you. You got to be 17. He said, when you get to be 17, come back and see me and we can do business.
So he could just walk right next door and try to join the Army or the Navy and probably get away with it, but he's always wanted to be a Marine since he was 8 years old. So he walks back out to the car, Radford's still sitting in it, head hanging low. He's absolutely devastated. At which point, Radford Jones, fucking stepdad of the year, is like, what? I thought I got rid of you. Why are you back? Jack tells him it's not going to work because he has to have his birth certificate to prove that he's 17 years old. Otherwise, the Marine Corps isn't going to take him. So Radford Jones marches right back into the recruiter's office and goes full car salesman mode. Walks right up to the Marine recruiter and is like, hey, I'm his stepdad. The kid's definitely 17. His mom actually lost his birth certificate in a house fire. Actually, now that I think of it, I don't even think he ever had a birth certificate, you know, because it's the early 1940s and all kinds of people were still born at home. The government doesn't even know that this kid still exists, okay? Don't believe me? We could cut one of his arms off right now and count the rings. I guarantee you there's 17 of them.
I think you ought to buy it today right now. You want to know why? Because this Buick is you. The color is you. Look at it. This is your car.
At this point, the recruiter's like, I mean, all right, fine, whatever. Hands Jack a clipboard with a piece of paper. Fill this out, sign your name at the bottom. Jack does it, signs his name, turns around to, you know, begrudgingly thanks stepdad for helping him out. Stepdad's already gone. Car's not even in the parking lot. Dude bounced. Cool, that doesn't matter. He got what he wanted. He is officially enlisted at the age of 14 on August 6th, 1942.
Nobody's gonna know.
He immediately gets sent off to basic training and he
Nobody's
absolutely crushes it.
Don't worry about it.
Gets put in a leadership role pretty much the entire time because he's the only one there with military experience because he spent the last year at a military academy. So he already knew most of the jargon, the ranks, how to march, and so on. So he was one of the most high-speed privates there. Besides that, nothing of note really happens while he's at basic training, except he did say he learned one very important lesson. One day, one of the drill instructors, while they were out at the firing line, said, "Who wants to drive a truck?" And Jack, being a 14-year-old who didn't have much driving experience, was actually kind of excited to drive a truck, so he raised his hand and volunteered. At which point, the drill instructor gave him an empty wheelbarrow, told him to go over there, fill it up full of ammunition, and haul ammunition up and down the firing line all day long. It is at this point that he learned to never volunteer for anything in the military ever again. After graduating basic training, he gets sent to Jacksonville Naval Air Base.
That's a brutal way to learn a lesson like that. Holy shit. It's like, oh, you know how to drive a truck, eh? Great! Since you already know, we can skip this lesson. Go haul ammo. Damn.
where he basically gets to be a gate guard and do some more training. Now, he's outside of basic training. This is more advanced training. And when you go to these more advanced training courses, typically you're allowed to have liberty, leave over the weekend. You're allowed to go out into town and drink and mingle with the civilians. I'm going to say that again, but slower. The 14-year-old Marine that nobody realizes is 14, including all the other Marines, the bartenders, and all the women at the bar, is going to go drinking at the bar with the Marines.
Yeah, that's not great. There was quite possibly an entire town full of women that were incidentally doing bad shit with a 14-year-old in World War II. That is, yeah, that's not great. That's not great.
Every weekend. I'll let your imagination tell you what happens.
No, man. I love you.
Not good.
So he finishes up training in Jacksonville. By June of 1943, he is sent back to North Carolina to Camp Geiger, where he's going to have a bunch of machine gun training, and he is absolutely excellent at running that machine gun. He does such a good job, in fact, that after finishing the machine gun training, he is one of 9 Marines selected to stay at Camp Geiger and become an instructor. Kate, to most people, that's a good thing, but Jack is absolutely furious because he doesn't want to be a machine gun trainer in North Carolina. He wants to go to the Pacific Theater and fight the Japanese. Now, he finds out that he's going to be a machine gun trainer via letter, right? He is
to be honest, there's so many stories involving people just displaying amazing aptitude in various skills in the military. And then the military deciding, yes, they're so good at this. We need to immediately turn them into a trainer for our own military personnel just so that we can try and impart a modicum of how good they are onto our troops. Except they're so good at this shit that they can't effectively train anyone because it comes naturally to them. Fuck. I've seen that particular thing so many times. To be fair, that's a big reason we won against the Japanese. That's true, that's true. It's still wild to think about. Because, like, so many of them were kind of just pissed about it. Like, they were stuck training people for, like, almost the entire time. The Japanese lost all their good pilots before they could pass on their skills. True, yeah, that's why they ended up having to do a lot of what they ended up doing with their planes later on. Like, damn. Completely fair. It's just, you always hear about it from the context of these mad lads that don't want to be out here training people, they want to get in the fight. And then when they finally get into the fight, they do some absolutely insane bullshit, you know? And the training was getting in the way of that. But at the same time, the extra training they themselves got was probably doing pretty well. It sucks, no two ways about it, but technically it is very sound. True. Completely accurate. Still. Crazy to think about.
Orders on paper. He doesn't share those orders with anybody. All the other Marines were given orders at roughly the same time of what unit they're getting shipped out to and what unit they're going to be a part of. So Jack just doesn't tell
different sources
anybody
of caffeine before the start of the stream, by the way. So we might be running for a little bit longer as a result of that. So I fully expect we'll watch the entirety of the video.
Anything, and he waits. When the time comes that all the other Marines are loading up onto a train to go all the way from North Carolina to California on their way to the Pacific Theater, Jack says fuck it, and he jumps on the train too. He figures it's better to ask forgiveness and permission. What's the worst that could happen? They ship him back and he has to be a machine gun trainer anyways. He spends 30 days in the brig. Whatever. Best case scenario, he gets attached to a different unit and he gets to go into combat. So he's on the train for a couple of days. They make it to California. Everybody gets off the train. They form up. There's an NCO there with a clipboard, and he reads off all the names on the roster. After he finishes reading all the names on the roster, he says, "Is there anybody that I didn't call?" Jack raises his hand. NCO's like, "Why aren't you on the roster?" To which Jack geniusly plays the stupid private role and just goes, "I don't know. I was just told to get on the train. Keeping track of everything was the Army's job. I'm just here." To which the sergeant is like, "That's exactly correct and is totally something that would happen."
Oh my god. He gave him the Ogren response from Warhammer 40k. Listen, sir, I just do orders. You guys told me to get on train. I got on train. Now I am here. I must protect. I must protect the little ones.
Okay, you come with me. They go to the commanding officer's office. They walk in. The lieutenant is like, what do you want? The sergeant is like, this private's not on the roster. To which the lieutenant goes, so put him on the roster. Okay, boom, mission successful. Jack may be the only person ever to go AWOL so that he could go to war. So they notify
amazing.
Camp Geiger back in
Holy
North Carolina that Jack Lucas is here now and we're not sending him back. So now he is at Camp Elliott in California. And Camp Elliott is, I mean, they're training, but it's basically just they're there for a couple of months or a couple of weeks while they're getting moved closer and closer to the Pacific Theater to go into combat. So during the day, they're doing stuff, you know, they're like moving supplies, administrative bullshit, but every night they're going out, they're getting hammered, going out on the town. This might be their last chance some of them ever have to have a good time, so that's exactly what they're doing. And Jack, you gotta remember, he's still 14. He's feeling kind of self-conscious. He's got a bunch of other 17, 18, 19, 20-plus-year-old Marines talking and bragging about all the women they're sleeping with and how much they're drinking and all.
He's about to do some stupid shit. Okay.
The crazy stuff they've done.
Let's see what he
in a
does.
desperate attempt to look cool, he reaches into his bag and he pulls out his 38 caliber revolver, actually his mom's 38 caliber revolver that he took with him, and he's just sitting on his bunk twirling it on his finger. It was fucking loaded and he fires off a round through a couple of tents. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but Jack is like, all right,
why did I flinch from that? Fuck, dude. God damn it, I'm a fucking jackass. Shit.
Oh, time to mail that back home. So he mails that back home to his mom.
Shut up, what the fuck are you doing, man? Where did you get that shit?
It's like you were there.
So, be cool with a gun. Mission failed completely. What else can we do to look cool? I know. What does any military service member, regardless of branch, do immediately upon graduating training? They go out and they get a tattoo. Okay, sidebar. Yes, I realize that I'm covered in tattoos and there's like 5 guns on the couch behind me and I'm basically making fun of myself at this point, okay?
That is fair.
Anyways, the real question here is, what is this young 14-year-old Marine gonna get for his very first and probably his only tattoo? Well, obviously, we're gonna go with the Marine Corps Globe and Anchor, right? It's iconic. Every Marine's got a tattoo of it. That's what we're getting. But Jack opts for a little bit of a different version, and he replaces the globe with the head of a bulldog. So now that he's cool enough, he's going out every night, he's drinking with the Marines, he's partying before they get shipped off.
Honestly, I can appreciate the bulldog flair. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's pretty cool. Like, weirdly enough, that's probably one of the coolest versions of that particular logo I've seen, honestly.
And this is where things start to go a little sideways. He starts getting into a little bit of trouble. One day, they're at this outdoor bar. He's wearing his garrison cap, also known as a piss cutter, and he's talking to a group of women with his friend group, and then some other group of Marines comes up, and the biggest guy there picks on him because he's the shortest. He's 5'8", but he's 180 pounds. He's stocky. He's a boxer. He's not the first, I think he's 15 at this point. He's not the first 15-year-old that you'd want to mess with. So this older Marine, attempting to punk him...
We've been shot. Oh, God. Hello, May. Oh, hell yeah, you were playing Warframe? That's awesome. I'm glad you guys were having fun playing Warframe. Oh my gosh. Hello, May. Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful night. We're learning about Jack Lucas, the indestructible Marine. Hope you all have a wonderful night. Raid, hell yeah.
Except he grabs a hat off the top of his head.
The Tentacal gal. Hey, thank you for the follow, Tentacal. Tentacal gal. I hope you're having a wonderful night.
Sideways and says, "Hey, you look like Napoleon." At which point, Jack immediately knocks this dude out cold.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Jack would be the one. Well, I was playing RE2, but got frustrated with hardcore mode, so we relaxed with some Warframe. Experiment to see if people wanted to see more Warframe. Warframe is pretty damn good. Like, I have it downloaded. I got, what was it called? Necros last, like, 2 or 3 days ago. I finally got that one. I've been doing the slow grind to get some extra Warframes. I had some Platinum that I got, like, a couple years ago that I was able to use to spend to get a couple other Warframes as well. It's pretty damn good, honestly. I like it a lot. Though I hadn't played it in a few years until, like, a few days ago when I had some time to do it. Well, if you want an extra friend, let me know. Well, I definitely will ask, okay? I didn't know you were playing, Gep. I would have helped if I knew. Well, that's perfectly fine. I'm mainly just leveling up the frames at this point. I don't really have, like, too much. My strongest weapons are typically melee because I can stack damage buffs on them like nobody's business. But, I've been having a lot of fun with it. Though, it is a bit of a grind. Well, not really a bit of a grind. It takes, like, very little time to actually level up Warframes when you know what places are best for that kind of stuff. So, it's not too bad. But I do definitely enjoy it, just generally.
Gets into a little bit of trouble for that. Then the weekend comes around, and one of the Marines has a brilliant idea. Hey, we're in California. We should go to Tijuana. So now the 15-year-old Marine is going to party with all the other Marines in Tijuana. Which, once again, I'm just going to have to let you imagine how that goes.
Well, we caught the infamous Fogle.
Get your head. Wait for me, Nicola. Wait for me on the outside. We were gonna go to Hawaii.
And this is pretty much the
These
new norm until
kids.
November of 1943,
Oh, wow.
when the entire unit gets sent out to Hawaii. And while they're there, there's not much time to goof off. Things are moving quick. His
I don't
unit
think I
finds
have
out that they're
nearly
going
as
to be
much.
invading this
I don't think I have nearly as much time in Warframe, but, let me think about it. I think I had more time on the PlayStation version of Warframe, but back then, my PlayStation account got hacked, and I basically lost, like, everything relating to that. I ended up not playing Warframe for, like, a solid, I don't know, something like 3 years after that. Then I played for a little bit, didn't get too far into it because I got distracted with another game. But I got far enough into it that I ended up having Oberon, which I liked a lot. And then I started playing again 2 or 3 days ago, something like that. Ended up getting that stuff taken care of pretty quick, though, so I'm happy with that at least.
island called Tarawa, and apparently it's going to be a big deal.
I ended up
so
getting
Jake takes his time to
the
write
big
potentially his
gal
final
ink
letters home,
master
sends those off,
lady,
and then helps keep
as
getting
well
ready to go off to
as
war.
the,
The day finally comes. They're going to load up on the boats and get
Houndmaster
ready to
lady
take
as
off.
well.
Jack is pumped.
So I'm
He's
happy
finally
with
getting to
those
go
two.
off to war.
I
This
also
is
got
exactly
Necros,
what he's been
but
wanting
Necros
for
cost me
years at
way
this point.
less
So they're
platinum.
forming up by the ramp of the boat. They got a guy there with the roster. As soon as he calls your name, you say here, and then you go and you get on the boat, okay? They called Jack Lucas, and they say fall out to the Colonel so-and-so's office.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, at this point,
Yeah.
Jack's shitting bricks. He has
They're
no idea
fucked.
what's going on. He
They're
goes into the
fucked.
Colonel's office. The Colonel sits him down and is like, look, son, you know we screen the mail when you send it out of the base, right? To make sure you're not telling anybody anything we're not supposed to know. And Jack's like, I didn't know that. And then it dawns on him. He mentioned in one of his letters that he was 15 years old, and now the Corps knows the truth. The Colonel
You
informs Jack that he is
dumbass.
doing the paperwork to get him separated and chaptered out of the United States Marine Corps, at which point Jack tells the Colonel, if you do that, I'm just going to go to the Army, and they're not going to check, and they're not going to care. This stops the Colonel in...
Shit. Holy shit. He pulled the, listen, man, the Army doesn't give a shit. I'll just go to them. And they won't care. Like, even if you tell them, they just let me right on through. Holy shit. Okay. That is some emotional blackmail, if ever I've seen one. Holy crap. Yep, have you played Division or Division 2? I have not, actually. No, I have not played Division or Division 2. I've seen gameplay from both. From, I can't remember which channel it was, but I have seen gameplay of both. I thought they were both interesting, but I never played them myself.
his tracks, and he stops
Also,
filling
did
out
you
the
call
paperwork. And
Hildra
he's thinking about what to do, and it
Houndmaster?
dawns on him.
What? No, I said a Houndmaster. I said Houndmaster. Houndmastr. Hildren. Hildren? I'm not sure. Maybe Hildren is that. I said the Houndmaster. Though, honestly, both of them could very well be that, honestly. Depika has injured himself. That's not good. She's the thick lady frame. No, Pound Master would still be accurate, honestly, especially since I gave her a big ol' hammer when I was playing as her yesterday. So that makes sense regardless. Varuna is the hound one? That makes sense, yeah. I was stepping over a gate and slammed your big toenail into the corner of a table. Are you okay? Did your toenail get split at all? That happened to me with my pinky toe, like 3 or 4 days ago. I had to clip it back to deal with that, but I hope you're okay.
The best thing he can do to help this reckless kid is to keep him here as a
under
Marine,
his bleeding.
where he can keep an eye on him. So that's what the Colonel does.
Jesus
he ends up
Christ.
making Jack the garbage truck driver on the
That's a drastic one, Paladin. Holy shit.
base.
Sergeant Reckless.
So Jack is absolutely
Damn.
furious. All of his buddies are going off to war, and now he's a garbage man. So one day, Jack's driving the garbage truck. He's got to pull over, get some gas. So he pulls over at this gas station / automotive repair shop, and he's looking around, and there's like this little impound lot, and in this little impound lot, sitting up on some blocks, is this badass 1935 black Auburn convertible, and he ends up asking the gas station attendant, like, hey, what's up with this cool-ass sports car? And the attendant is like, oh, some millionaire abandoned it after they attacked Pearl Harbor. It's just been sitting there. If you want it, we'll sell it to you for like 150 bucks. So Jack gets 2 of his buddies. They pool their money together. They buy this 1935 Auburn convertible. Problem, it has no rims and no tires. However, he's going to strategically acquire some from the army. Okay? Gets those put on, fixes the canvas convertible part with some canvas that he also tactically acquires from the army. So now he's got a car, but here's the problem. He's 15. He doesn't have a driver's license, and the car's not registered because it's basically stolen. But here's the upside. This is a really fancy car. And not only is this a really fancy car just by normal car standards, this is a really fancy car, and it's in Hawaii in the 1940s. Meaning, nobody else has a car like this in Hawaii, and whoever paid the money to have this imported to Hawaii spent a ton of money to do it. So, nobody has the balls to pull this car over, because whenever they see some young private driving this thing, they just automatically assume, oh, that's gotta be like the personal attendant to some general or something, and he's driving the general's car on very official business. I'm not gonna fuck with him. So now Jack and his 2 buddies, a couple of Marines, have a car that they're never gonna get pulled over in, cruising around Hawaii. It is at this point
they gave him too much power. Jack is over here with a car that is immune to reprisal at the age of, I think, 16? Because, I'm going to be honest, last I checked, he was still 15. But, damn, what the fuck? This Jack is just out here living like a GTA character. What the fuck? Still 15. Fuck. Jesus, he is literally a GTA character. Like, he's out here, San Andreasing it up in the military. What the fuck? He could be out there mugging people, and we wouldn't know.
Things start to go sideways. Jack is not handling the fact that all of his buddies went off to war without him very well, and every time he gets leave, liberty, he goes out, he gets drunk, and he ends up getting in a fight. He goes on 17 liberties, he gets in 17 fights, he gets arrested 17 times. And on the 18th liberty, he gets in an 18th fight, and this fight is with some 6'3" pretty boy Marine that they're putting on all the posters and the billboards for recruiting. And Jack ends up beating the shit out of this dude and messing up his pretty face, at which point he gets thrown in the brig and he's awaiting trial by a military court for 45 days. They drag him outside and make him break rocks all day long. After 45 days of that, he finally gets his court date, and his official punishment is time served plus 30 days of bread and water. Bread and water is a Navy punishment that's been around pretty much since the inception of the country, and they didn't get rid of it until 2019. What it originally was back in the day was basically...
Wait, let me read that real quick. Confinement on bread and water was one of the Navy's harshest non-judicial punishments. It was actually codified as an option to use on E3s, ranks and below, for misdemeanor offenses. Huh. So literally nothing but bread and water. I'm thinking about it, and would that even give them enough nutrition to do Marine and Navy like stuff, because like I think typically you need something more. I mean, I guess it's calories and water, so it doesn't really matter, but like I feel like more protein and a whole bunch of other stuff would still be needed. It's worse than just the diet. Yeah, I imagine so. Ah, what would that do to a person that's still actively doing Marine and Navy activities? Because, like, they're still doing heavy lifting. They're still running around. He's about to get into it. Oh, okay.
And they didn't get rid of it until 2019. What it originally was back in the day was basically solitary confinement, except for your meals, you get 2 slices of bread and 1 glass of water. And then in 1909, they decided that 30 days, which was the maximum sentence, was too much, and they reduced it down to a maximum of 7 days on bread and water that was allowed. Now, this is the 1940s. That's later than 1909. How on earth did Jack just get sentenced to 30 days of bread and water? Well, the workaround, if you really upset somebody, is they'll still sentence you to 30 days, but once a week you'll get 1 normal meal and like an hour outside of your cell. That way it resets the clock on your 7-day punishment, because you just can't go 30 days unbroken without a normal meal. So they give you 1 meal to reset the clock. So that sucks, but he gets through it. By the time he gets out, it's May 1944. Meets back up.
Yeah, that is, that's a lot. A single meal and being allowed outside for an hour. I'm fairly certain that that alone would give him more PTSD than any of the following war shit that he's probably going to go through. Like, there's a reason that solitary confinement fucks up prisoners so much, you know?
With his buddies, they still got the car. Everything's good, okay? You just got out of jail.
It's basically solitary confinement light. Yeah. It's low-key them holding him hostage. Like, Jesus.
What's the first thing you do? You're a 16-year-old Marine.
Like,
obviously,
it might not technically be false imprisonment, but it sure as fuck feels like it. Damn.
Steal a bunch of booze and get hammered.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
So Jack and his buddies decide they're going to get 15 jerry cans, and they're going to sneak into the harbor at night onto a naval vessel and fill them with all the booze from the naval vessel's reserves. Okay, it goes great. They get away with it. They get 15 jerry cans full of beer, and they bring it back to the company, and everybody starts drinking. They have a great time. After a couple hours, all the booze is gone. Jack and his 2 buddies, it's okay, we'll go get more. They grab the empty jerry cans, they throw them in the car, they hop in the car, they drive back to the same exact ship. They literally return to the scene of the crime, and they end up crashing the car along the way. So the other 2 buddies, they bail out, but Jack...
I'm sorry. The more I learn about the bullshit he got up to before he even went to war, the more I'm just sitting here like, wow. They made a mistake keeping him in the Marines. Holy shit, he's caused more problems in the Marines than he probably would have in the Army. Jesus.
Jack was sitting in the middle seat, so he didn't have time to jump out. He ends up getting tackled by the MPs.
What a fucking
and they got
dumbass.
him. Jack, being the homie that he is, refuses to rat on anyone, gets 45 days of breaking rocks awaiting his court date, has his court date, gets sentenced, 30 days, bread and water, again.
Damn.
Honestly, eat it for every meal. Or just eat it all the time without even stopping.
Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat?
So he does his time, he gets out, and when he gets out, something's different. There's hundreds of ships now, okay? There's a ton of Navy dudes, way more Marines. All the ships are sending Higgin boats ashore to let all their guys go on leave, get supplies, and so on. And he figures there's hundreds of ships out there. One of them has to have my cousin, Sam Lucas, on it, right? So he decides that he's going to hop in one of these Higgins boats and ride out to one of the ships and start asking around, see if he can maybe figure out where his cousin's at. So that's what he does. He just hops onto one of these Higgins boats, gets ferried out to a naval vessel. Nobody's really asking questions or verifying anything. They're going back and forth all day long. It's really not that big of a deal. So he gets onto this U.S. naval ship. It's the USS Duel. He gets up, starts asking around like, hey, does anybody know my cousin? His name's Sam Lucas. And holy shit, the very first ship out of a couple hundred is the same exact ship that his cousin's on.
I'm sorry, is this guy the indestructible Marine or the luckiest Marine on the planet? Like, first, he gets in because of his salesman of a stepfather, you know? And then he goes through all this bullshit. They don't throw him out. He's seemingly immune to being thrown out of the Marines, just generally. Because they just keep on letting him get away with it. Not like, they do punishments, but like, he doesn't seem to give a fuck about the punishments. He just keeps on going. Keeps on breaking the rules. No shit's given. And then the first ship he gets on. Oh yeah, I know him. He's in the fucking latrines right now.
Not only that, but his cousin is on board right now, and he's in the infirmary because he's getting stitches because somebody smashed him in the face with a beer bottle in a bar fight. Apparently it runs in the family. So he goes, he meets up with his cousin, they're having a little reunion, they're hanging out, and the time comes, he should probably, you know, hop back on a Higgins boat and make his way back to the base. He's on leave, but obviously he can't sleep on the ship, he doesn't have a bed here, at which point his cousin Sammy is like, hey, most of us are just sleeping on the deck of the ship anyways, partying, nobody wants to be like, you know, down in the dungeon where the cots are, it's so nice outside, we're just sleeping out in the open, you could sleep here too. And he's like, okay, perfect. So he just stays the night there. Then while they're hanging out that night, Sam explains to him that they're gearing up for some big, huge island invasion, a massive battle that all these ships are going to be going to. At which point Jack is like, fuck it, I'm staying here. I'm going to stow away.
He went AWOL twice? What? And both times it was to go to war. What is wrong with this kid? Oh my god.
On the ship, nobody's gonna notice because there's hundreds of dudes just sleeping on the deck of every ship, and I blend right in. I have a Marine uniform, I look like everybody else, nobody's gonna know that I'm here. I'm just gonna stay here and end up going to battle so I can finally fight the Japanese. Yet again, going AWOL so that he can go to war, he just starts living on the ship. And this goes on for 29 days.
Ridiculous.
On day 29, his cousin Sam is like, okay, are you sure that you want to do this, dude? Because on day 30, you legit, it's no longer like you were AWOL, you weren't where you're supposed to be in the military. You become a legitimate fugitive, and they're going to send your picture to every sheriff's department in the country. Hearing this, it dawns on Jack like, oh shit, I really don't want my mom and my family and all my friends seeing me on wanted posters being a fugitive from the law. I better go turn myself in. So he goes to the captain of the ship, explains everything that happened, and the captain is like, bro, this is going to be so much paperwork. Why did you do this on my ship? And the real problem is this is like a day or two before all the ships are supposed to leave to head off to Iwo Jima. So when the captain runs it up his chain of command, talks to his boss, some colonel, and is like, hey, I've got this stowaway that wanted to go and fight the Japanese. The colonel's like, I don't care what you do with him. Just figure out where to put him. At which point, Jack chimes into the conversation and is like, actually, can I be stationed with the Marines right here on this ship? My cousin's here. It'd be great. At which point, the colonel's like, fucking sure, I don't care. Get out of my office. So at this point, the commander of the ship,
he can't keep getting away with it. What is this guy's luck? Oh my god, his charisma stat must be fucking massive. This is how many times does he need to, did he learn car salesmanship from his fucking stepdad? Cause like, that's what it's feeling like at this point. He just keeps on convincing and getting away with this shit.
was like, okay, well, I guess you're with me. I'll get the paperwork squared away and we're setting sail tomorrow, so I guess fucking find a bunk. So now that original colonel that was the one that decided that Jack was going to stay in Hawaii so that he could keep an eye on him is kind of put in a very difficult situation because in order to stop this transfer, he has to admit that Jack is underaged and that he knew about it, which is going to get him in trouble. And that's assuming that he ever even found out about this in the first place before they set sail, which he probably didn't. Regardless, Jack is now headed off to storm the beach at Iwo Jima at the age of 17.
Oh my god, Jesus.
If you don't know, Iwo Jima is one of the bloodiest battles in American history. The island itself is extremely strategically important because America needs it to build airfields to be able to bomb mainland Japan.
No, this is God guiding his boldest warrior to fuck up some gems. Honestly, maybe at this point. Like, holy shit, dude. How many times does this shit have to go on before, like, somebody stops him? Because, like, it doesn't feel like he's ever going to be stopped. at this
And
point.
B,
Holy
they can't
shit.
allow Japan to have it because they'll set up radio arrays that are going to be able to give them a
wow.
2-hour warning whenever America does try to bomb if they don't have this island.
Apparently,
This island
army
is only 8 square
paperwork
miles, and the
fucking
Japanese
sucks,
have built
lol.
underground
Yeah,
tunnel networks,
yeah.
pillboxes, and artillery.
That seems to be the excuse almost every time with this kid. It's like, I really don't want to do the paperwork for that. So, welcome to the Marines, kid. Twice, 3 times, effectively.
Positions
Nobody
all
gives
over
a
it. There's
shit.
over 20,000
Jesus.
Japanese soldiers there that have all been ordered that they are required to kill 10 Americans before they die themselves. The battle takes place in February of 1945, but the Americans have been bombing it and shelling it with naval gunfire since November of 1944. By the time the Marines got there to launch their amphibious landing, many of them described the island as looking like a burnt pork chop with no signs of life anywhere. Despite that, most of the Japanese soldiers survived by hiding in their underground cave networks. So bombing's not going to work. They're going to have to send in the Marines to clear out these caves in close quarters combat. And let me tell you, back in Grandpa's day, they did CQB a little bit different.
Yeah, that would do it. Yeah. Just chucking explosives in, napalm, whatever they can get away with, honestly, it looks like.
During the attack, forces are pretty much going to be split in half.
Yeah,
half the forces are going to be taking over Mount Suribachi, and the other half are going to make their way north so they can take over the airfield. And Jack is going to be in the second wave landing on Red Beach, meaning that he will be making his way north to attack the airfield. The first wave launches, and it's anticlimactic. There's no gunfire, there's no artillery, it's just the sound of the ocean and the roar of the engine, and some of the Amtraks and Higgins boats start making their way onto the beach and offloading their troops, and thousands of Marines get onto the beach, and that is when the Japanese attack. The Japanese intentionally let the Marines reach the beach before opening fire. That way they can create a bottleneck similar to a traffic jam. Ended up causing Amtraks and Higgins boats to crash into one another, sinking the boats in place, and now the second wave isn't able to launch because they're going to get hung up on all the wreckage of the other Higgins boats and Amtraks. Every square inch of this beach is covered by overlapping fields of machine gun fire and artillery, and the only place the Marines have to take cover is inside the craters created by the bombings from America in the months prior. Initially, it's chaos, but eventually the Marines are able to get organized enough to start having crews go out and start moving the wreckage of the Higgins boats and the Amtraks, clearing a way for the second wave to make a landing. And after the 2 longest hours in these guys' lives, they finally launched the second wave. Jack is riding in on a Higgins boat. He said the only thing he could hear was the roar of the engine and machine gun fire. Nobody was talking. He was literally sitting shoulder to shoulder with other men, and he felt completely alone. It was the loudest silence he'd ever heard in his entire life. For whatever reason, maybe he got too excited, or maybe he was concerned that he was going to crash into the wreckage of another Higgins boat. The coxswain driving Jack's Higgins boat dropped the door too early. All the Marines run out and sink into the water up to their chest. But Jack, at 5'8", on the shorter side, is sunk into water up to his chin, and he has to look up to be able to breathe as he tries to run through the ocean into gunfire. He ends up making it to the beach, and he's there pinned down for 2 hours. And then he said after 2 hours, he just came to the realization that if he heard the explosion, it had already missed him, and whatever was going to take him out, he was never going to know about. And other Marines were starting to realize this too, as they just became immune to the fear of this fight, and they all got up and started advancing forward inch by inch for hours. Jack keeps pushing, and he keeps pushing, and he finally makes it to the very, very front of the front.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, he's probably had the premium PTSD after the end of this. Jesus, fuck, dude. Oh, God.
Line, and as soon as he gets there, he is immediately sent back to the very base of the beach to receive a heavy machine gun with another Marine. Jack's pissed. He finally made it to the front line. He was finally going to get to engage the enemy, which has been his dream for like the past 4 years, but this isn't the time to argue. It's not the time to fight. He just turns back around, runs down the beach to get this gun. It's time to get shit done. Him and the other Marine get down there. They find a heavy machine gun. It's on a 2-wheel cart with a T-handle, so one guy on each side, and they're supposed to run it up the beach. The problem is the beach is made out of volcanic ash, and Jack said every single step forward he took, the ash moved beneath his feet 2 steps back. He said he felt like he was running up a hill made out of wheat. It takes Jack and this other Marine a while to get this gun moved up the beach, and once they get it there, they are both absolutely smoked. But the sun's already starting to go down, so everybody just kind of takes cover for the night and sets up defenses. It's the longest night of everybody's life. Nobody actually gets any sleep. The temperature drops. They're all wet. They're all cold. They're all shivering. The Japanese are known for launching bonsai attacks. At this point in the war, Japan had abandoned that practice because they didn't have enough men to go 1-for-1 with America anymore. But at this point, the Marines don't know that, so they're constantly on edge. Every noise out there could be them lurking up to launch a bonsai attack and try to bayonet them. In addition to that, that also makes them want to stay extremely quiet because they don't want to get mistaken for the
God, it is just... All I'm imagining right now is like a kid, almost half my age at this point, that is just going through all this shit. And I'm just like, damn, dude. He might be the indestructible Marine, but shit.
Japanese sneaking up on anybody by another Marine in a different foxhole. So they're all just sitting there, shivering, cold, wet, dead quiet, waiting. Morning finally comes and they start making their way towards the airfield. The closer they get, the more and more enemy resistance they encounter. They start getting in a firefight here, a firefight there, and once they get close to the airfield, they actually end up taking over a Japanese trench that had been abandoned because the Japanese knew they were coming and fled into their cave network. Jack and his fire team absolutely were not about to try to follow them into the cave, so they just held their guns, pointed at the cave entrance, and called up a flame-throwing Sherman tank from the back. As the Sherman made its way there, the Japanese inside saw it coming and ran out of the cave, at which point Jack and his fire team opened fire.
I didn't realize they made tank flamethrowers. That is simultaneously one of the coolest sounding things I've ever heard of, and also explains so many sci-fi games I've played wherein there was a tank that was also a flamethrower. That explains so much. Just generally. Huh. Never really thought of a Sherman tank that was also a flamethrower. That is, that's kind of nuts, honestly. That's cool as hell. That's cool
Jack
as hell.
shot one, and then he shot another, and then his gun jams. Jack ducks down into the trench to unjam his weapon, and at that moment, he sees 2 Japanese grenades sitting in the trench between him and the guy in front of him. At this point, Jack has 50 questions, and he has to answer all of them in the span of a couple of milliseconds. Did the Japanese leave those grenades there? Are the pins still in them? Did they throw them in and we didn't notice because it's a...
I'm sorry. Oh yeah, they could throw fire up to 400 feet? Jesus, I know that napalm had, like, an absolutely insane range compared to, like, 98% of the video games that have it in it. Like, the vast majority of video games, they get napalm wrong on how far it can go. But, like, 400 feet for a tank? Jesus, that is, oh god, that's a football field. I think that's more than a football field. Jesus, fuck. Actually, no, how big is a football field? Real quick, let me check that. How big is a foot? 100 yards? Okay, well now I need to do other math. Yards to feet. There we go. Alright. 1 yard equals 3 feet. So, 400 feet. Oh god, that means that you could throw fire, throw napalm, almost, Jesus, like a football field and a third away. Fuck, dude. Yeah, Jesus, that's a terrifying weapon. Holy shit.
It's a firefight, and there's all kinds of crazy shit going on.
Nuts.
If they did pull the pins and throw them into the trench, how long have they been there? Those grenades only have a 4-second
cool as
fuse.
hell, but
do I have time
dude.
to yell grenade and have everybody get out of this trench? If I yell, are they going to hear me over the sound of this firefight? He doesn't know, so he has to assume the worst and that grenade is going to explode in a second. And with that, he accepts the fact that he is going to die in this trench at 17 years old. And the only question left is, does he want to die by himself, or does he want everybody else in the trench to die with him? Because right now, he is the only one that knows, and he is the only one that can do anything about it. And that's not a real question to begin with. So he immediately dives on the first grenade, using his chest to drive it into the volcanic ash, reaches over, grabs a second grenade and pulls it into his chest as he screams grenade, and they blow up.
Oh, damn.
Hundreds of pieces of shrapnel are launched into his body as the force of the explosion flips him like a 180-pound pancake. He lands flat on his back. He feels like he's underwater. He can't move. Everything's numb and tingly. He hears a very loud, high-pitched ringing with the faint noise of a gunfight that's right next to him unfolding. After a few seconds, he feels the two Marines behind him step over what they presume to be his dead corpse as they continue to advance towards the enemy, and suddenly Jack is alone. Unable to move, the only thing he can do is focus on spitting out and swallowing the blood currently running down his throat so that he doesn't drown. He's not sure how long he was alone, but he remembers being alone long enough to start praying to God to not let him bleed out. And then, more Marines hop in the trench, a whole fire team, and with them is a Navy corpsman, a medic, Doc. And what this corpsman sees is a 180-pound Marine covered from head to toe in blood. His clothes are completely shredded. His arm is mangled. He has one eye hanging outside of his skull by the optic nerve, and he is holding a grenade in his other hand. Apparently that one was a dud, and Jack had no idea that he was still holding on to it. The corpsman, not knowing the status of this grenade, acts fast. He grabs a grenade out of Jack's hand and throws it into the adjacent ditch that he presumes is empty, and then two Japanese soldiers pop out and attack. The corpsman ends up killing both of them and then immediately goes to work on Jack. He does everything he can for him on the spot. He gives him a morphine syringe.
I've seen so many memes about Doc, the mythical Doc, and how if you kill Doc, you're done. You're dead. So on and so forth. But like seeing the whole thing, which is more likely if Doc killing the people that would have done shit and then immediately going back to healing the armed forces. Yeah, no, that hits different in a very fun way. I like that.
Shoves his eye back into his skull.
That's
he
wild.
stops as much bleeding as possible, and then he gets two more Marines to grab a litter and start hauling Jack back to the beachhead where they have an aid station.
You are being
set up.
saved.
At this point,
you
Jack
don't have
is still
a choice
wide
being
awake
saved.
and still
Doc
completely unable to move as he watches two Marines
yeah.
carry his 180-pound body through the same exact volcanic ash that he was dragging that heavy machine gun up the day prior. Both these guys are completely smoked, but they're doing everything they can to help Jack out, and then eventually one of them trips and drops the litter. Jack falls off, smokes his head on a rock, but at this point, what's one more injury? He makes it to the aid station, gets intubated while he's awake, which is not a pleasant experience, and then he finally gets knocked out. Next thing he knows, he wakes up on a hospital ship. He's so doped up on drugs, time is completely relative. He can't tell the difference between days and hours, but he does remember the doctor coming in and explaining to him that the only reason that he's here is because the volcanic ash mixing with his blood acted like a super coagulant and prevented him from bleeding out. Then, next thing he knows, they're getting him ready for another surgery. He doesn't know how many...
I'm sorry. This is just why is this guy's name the Indestructible Marine when it is quite clear that he is quite possibly the luckiest person on the planet? He should have been doing lottery tickets. Something, like... He just so happens, oh yeah, by the way, the fucking volcanic ash that was all up in your wounds? No, it was coagulant. Go figure, right? Holy shit. This guy has unreal luck.
Surgeries he's already had. He just knows that the doctor told him this time that the infection is spreading and they might have to amputate his arm. So Jack begs the doctor to try to save his arm and do everything he can, and the doctor reluctantly agrees. Jack wakes up from the surgery, his arm's in a cast, and the doctor comes in and is like, okay, here's the deal. As the last Hail Mary to try to save your arm, we've taken some maggots and put the maggots in your infected wounds, and the maggots are ideally going to eat away all the infection and be able to save your arm.
Take my arm.
Next thing he knows, he's on his way to Guam. Once he gets to Guam, he's in this hospital bay with like 5 other Marines. And then they go to take his cast off for the first time since he had it put on. And when they take it off, it is completely full of gray and yellow pus. And he said it was the most horrendous thing he has ever smelled in his entire life. All the other wounded Marines in this bay got up and left. And one of them literally had to crawl on the ground because he was so messed up. And he did it just to get away from the smell. And Jack said it was so bad that he didn't blame any of them at all. Shit. He then ends up getting...
That's so harsh. Holy Holy
sent
crap.
back to California, where he undergoes over 20 surgeries. Over the course of these surgeries, they remove over 250 pieces of shrapnel from his body, ranging in size from a BB to a 22 caliber bullet. And that's just the shrapnel that they were able to get out. He will live the rest of his life with 8 pieces of shrapnel permanently lodged in his brain, 6 in his right lung, and over 100 pieces throughout the rest of his body. In addition to that, he now also has what he describes as tattooing all over his chest and arms because the volcanic ash was rocketed into his flesh and his wounds and is now healed into his skin. From there, he gets
that is metal as hell. Holy shit. During the 1862 Battle of Shiloh and the Civil War. Oh, that's the thing where there was a specific bacteria that prevented people from getting infections, right? Some soldiers noticed a faint blue light, yeah, that's the one, emanating from their wounds. This phenomenon, later dubbed Angel's Glow. Oh my god, that's such a cool name. Oh my gosh. Writes that down for character design idea. Yeah, that's fucking awesome. This phenomenon, later dubbed Angel's Glow, was caused by the soil bacterium Photohabdus luminescence. This bacterium produces a substance that killed other more dangerous bacteria in the wound, allowing the soldiers to heal faster and survive. Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Home to a hospital in Charleston, South Carolina, where he undergoes a ton of PT, and he ends up getting medically discharged from the Marine Corps in September of 1945. And with that, he goes back home to Plymouth, North Carolina to live with mom. And he's there for a couple of weeks, and he gets a phone call that he needs to report to Washington, D.C. on October 5th, 1945. So he shows up to DC. He's informed that they're having a huge ceremony where President Truman is going to give him and 14 other people the Medal of Honor.
Holy shit.
So he's waiting in line with all the other Medal of Honor recipients during this big ceremony. It's his turn. He goes up. President Truman puts the Medal of Honor around his neck, goes to shake his hand. When he goes to shake his hand, he grabs his hand, and then he grabs his shoulder, and it's the shoulder of his bad arm. And President Truman doesn't know this, but he is firmly grabbing his shoulder and digging his thumb directly into one of the still very fresh, very open wounds inside of his arm. And Jack is doing everything he can to keep his face straight for the camera, but inside, he's just dying.
Nope. I mentally thought about the kind of shit that... No, he must have been in agony. Fuck, dude.
At this point, President Truman, with his thumb still inside Jack's wound, goes, "Son, I would rather have this medal than be the president of the United States." At which point, Jack is like, I'll trade you. With that, Truman kind of chuckles and sends him on his way, and now Jack is basically a celebrity. He is the youngest person of World War II to earn the Medal of Honor.
I would not have been able to hold a straight face and crack a joke like that. I would have been screaming on that stage. Holy shit.
This Marine of all time to earn the Medal of Honor, and everybody knows his name. He's in all the newspapers. He's going to all these parties, all these events. He's going on war bond drives.
He was a Marine.
He is having the time of his life. He's also doing a bunch of interviews, and one of the interviews he does is a national radio broadcast. And in this interview, he ends up requesting that people from all over America send his mother newspaper clippings of stories about him, and then he gives out his mother's address on national radio, not realizing what he's done. His poor mother receives over 50,000 pieces of mail, and it completely overloads the tiny Plymouth, North Carolina post office. After a couple months, things die down, and he finally gets to go back home, and he's in this really weird position because on one hand, he's a 17-year-old that's got an 8th grade education and his whole life ahead of him, but on the other hand, he's a combat veteran with the Medal of Honor and a full pension and disability. So he does what any military member does the second they get back from a deployment and have a ton of cash. He buys a brand new Chevy. That didn't take very long. Now he still has to figure out what to do. And he's like, I mean,
makes sense.
I guess I did promise my mom I'd go back to school when I got back. So he enrolls in high school.
All right. I hope you have a good night, Snap.
Okay, just so we're all on the same page, Jack is rolling up to his first day of his freshman year of high school in a brand new Chevy with 3 years in the Marine Corps under his belt, a 6-month prison sentence under his belt, the Medal of Honor, both conventional and unconventional tattoos. Okay, guess who he's taking to prom? Probably whoever he wants, but I guess that's also assuming that he wants to go to prom because it probably doesn't sound very fun after you've been partying in Tijuana with the Marines. Okay, right out of the gate, he realizes something is horribly wrong. First day of school, very first class, everybody sits down, gets quiet, the teacher's talking. He's looking around like, okay, nobody else else. Nobody else is hearing this. It's clearly just me because all Jack hears is
Ooh.
Yeah, you gotta remember, he was in a firefight with an M1 Grand shooting 30-06 rounds with no hearing protection, okay? This 17-year-old doesn't have tinnitus, he's got 11-itis. So he immediately takes some time off school, goes out, goes to the VA, gets fitted for hearing aids. I can only imagine the VA was still skeptical, you know, like, are you sure this was service related? After he gets the hearing aids, he does great in high school, goes on, graduates. Then he decides he's going to go to college. Again, I would pay money to read this guy's college application or to be a fly on the wall when they were reviewing the college applications. He goes on, graduates college with a business degree. Then he goes to work for the VA. 1954, he ends up getting married. His new bride has 2 sons from a previous marriage that he treats as his own. And then she gives him another son. From that point on, he's just kind of living life, you know, 9-to-5 job, white picket fence, couple of kids, a wife, you know, the whole shtick. And then one day he wakes up and he's 40 years old and he's like, this shit's boring. I want to do something cool. I should, like, I don't know, conquer the rest of my fears. I literally only have one fear left, and that's heights for some reason. So how can I conquer my fear of heights? That seems like something exciting to do. I know. I'm going to re-enlist in the United States military, except this time I'm going to join the Army to join the 82nd Airborne Division and become a paratrooper so I can conquer my fear of heights. And that's exactly
what? Round 2, motherfuckers. What the hell?
What he does, he somehow manages to get into the 82nd Airborne and become a paratrooper. So he joins in 1961, does great, starts doing training jumps. He's kind of like conquering his fear of heights, you know? It's pretty cool. You just jump out of the plane. There's a rope attached to your parachute. As soon as you get so far away from the plane, it automatically pulls the parachute for you. There's a jerk. You fall to the ground. That kind of hurts for a second, but ultimately, you're fine. Okay, then one day he's doing another training jump. He's the last man to jump out of the plane this time. No big deal. He's done this like 20 other times. It's just another day. It's another jump from 1,200 feet, right? So he goes, all the other guys jump out in front of him. He's the last man out of the plane. He jumps out, and then he waits. And he waits. There's no jerk. He looks up, his parachute's all tangled up, it's not catching any wind. He tries to open it up, he tries everything they taught him how to do, nothing works. So he gets rid of it, pulls his reserve chute, the same exact thing happens. Fuck. Okay, he's
What is this guy at this point? His luck is so fucking weird.
Panicking. He's flying past other people that have their parachutes open on his way down to the ground. It's just going to be a matter of seconds. And he's like, I mean, I'm probably done, but the best chance I have at maybe surviving this is landing feet first and doing the little combat roll like you're supposed to do when you have the parachute attached. So fuck it. I guess I'll try it. And that's what he does. He collides with the ground feet first, does his little roll thing, and then stands back up completely fine.
I'm sorry, what? He didn't even get fucking injured. What the fuck? No, clearly, I should be learning parkour if I want to be able to jump from anything, apparently. I was like, oh yeah, sure, guys, let's jump from 1,200 feet, land feet first, do a combat roll. You'll be fine. Apparently so. What the actual fuck? No, not just, I don't know, parachute jumping or bungee jumping. No, let's join Army again. Yes. 1,200 feet. Jesus fuck. Oh my god. Oh yeah, let's jump from a height higher than the tallest buildings on the planet. Just land feet first in combat roll. You'll be fine. I did it. I'm in my 40s. What the actual... That's not indestructibility, that's just probability manipulation at this point. This guy was literally out here making fate his bitch. Like, what the actual hell?
Plot armor and a plot parachute, okay?
Exactly.
I don't know what
plot
he had
armor.
planned for the rest of the evening, but I'm willing to bet it was to find John Connor. And just to be clear, when I say he was unscathed, he was completely...
I'm in my 40s and still full of shrapnel. Jesus Christ. Yes, that's right. He still has the shrapnel too, including the volcanic ash as well. Oh my god. I wonder what the other people parachuting thought when they saw the person who jumped last beat them to the ground. Yes, exactly. And then walk away. No problems. Not even a broken bone. Just, oh. Roll. I'm fine. Just the thing that people do to jump off of trains, fine. No, that apparently works at any height. Go figure. Jesus Christ. This guy is such bullshit. Why is there an anime character out here in the wild? Brew threw himself at the ground and missed. Yes. Oh my god.
Unscathed. He did another training jump 2 weeks later. He said that first jump after the accident, he didn't hesitate at all. He jumped right out. He wasn't scared one bit, which sounds counterintuitive. You would think if anything would make your fear of heights a little bit worse, it would be jumping out of a plane with no parachute. But then you think about it and you're like, well, yeah, no shit, you weren't scared. What's the worst that happens? Your parachute doesn't open and then you're the main character and you're completely fucking fine? Why would you possibly be scared of heights anymore? He goes on to complete 45 jumps.
I want to know what anime he fucking jumped out of, because this is some real shonen protagonist nonsense. That's what it is. Like, he feels like a Baki character at this point. Like, I don't know, fucking Gaia or some shit. Just running and doing stupid, crazy bullshit just because he can. Oh my god.
Between 1961 and 1965, he got out.
Yujiro, we know this is one of your kids. What the fuck are you doing? Jesus Christ. Bro reverse isekai'd from somewhere, and I want to know where. Exactly. Holy shit.
Out in 1965 when he found out that the United States Army was not going to allow him to deploy to Vietnam because he was a Medal of Honor recipient. So he's like, well, this is lame. I've conquered my fear of heights. Deuces, I'm out. After leaving the military, he opens up a butcher shop. Remember, he's a business major. That's what he went to college for. So he runs it really, really well. And over the course of the next decade, he grows that business. He opens up multiple butcher shops, multiple storefronts. He ends up owning a ranch where they actually raise the cattle that he slaughters in his butcher shops and sells at his stores. During this same period of time that he's growing the business, he unfortunately ends up getting a divorce from his first wife, and then he ends up getting another wife by the name of Erlene. They end up having 2 more kids, and she brings several kids from a previous marriage as well. I'm just gonna level with you. Jack is doing pretty well financially at this point in his life, okay? He's rich. He's like living in a 15-bedroom mansion.
Bro parried all damage. Yes, he did. Oh my gosh, that's so accurate though. He jumped 1,200 feet, landed on his feet, dodge rolled the damage, and he was fine. Dark Souls rolls for iframes. Yes. Oh my god. Oh. Hello, Timothy. I'm doing all right. We're having a lot of fun watching this. Damn. Jack Lucas is some bullshit. Jesus. I'm reminded of when the U.S. was going to teach, I think it was the Philippines, how to paratroop, and most of their elites just walked out. And then later the rest acted surprised that they got parachutes. Wait. So their elites were expecting to just jump out of the planes and not have parachutes? What? It's like with Leon parrying the fucking rocket. Yes. Oh my gosh. Holy shit.
With
this
multiple sports cars and a pet chimpanzee that wears
still
a dress.
Volunteered?
No, I'm not exaggerating. That's all true. Then one day he gets a call from the IRS and was like, hey, why haven't you paid taxes in like 2 years? And he's like, what are you talking about?
What?
So then he calls up the accountant, and the accountant looks into it, and his wife, who does the bookkeeping, has apparently elected to just not pay the taxes.
Shit.
Not only has she not been paying the taxes, she's also been taking money out of the business that Jack didn't know about.
No. Don't like that.
So Jack is understandably pretty upset. He's trying to run a business and his wife is embezzling, so he cuts her off from the money, works really hard to get everything settled and squared up with the IRS so he doesn't get his ass sent to prison. And then one day he gets a call while he's sitting down to dinner, and he answers it, and they're like, is this Jack Lucas? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, this is so-and-so from the Maryland State Police. We need you to come by the station. We've had a report about some of the product from one of your stores. And he's like, shit. Somebody got food poisoning, or he's going to get in trouble. They're going to shut down his shops. Like, everything is just going to hell in a handbasket. This is going to ruin his entire life. So he's like, okay. He goes out, goes to meet up with the Maryland State Police. So he shows up to the police department. The state police are like, okay, here's the deal. Nothing's wrong with your store or your product or anything. That was all a cover up. We just needed to get you here to talk to you, and we couldn't let anybody else know why you were coming. At first, Jack is relieved, and then the cops tell him, the real reason we called you here is because we've been informed that your wife is going to try to murder you. Erlene, Jack's wife, apparently
Oh my god. No. I was right the entire time. This fucking guy is literally the luckiest Marine on the planet. Just fucking dodge rolling through fucking kill attempts. What? What do you mean his wife was trying to kill him? Jesus Christ. This is just insane. Oh my gosh, he's gone through so much bullshit. What the hell?
Approached one of the
What
butcher
is
shop
even
employees and
happening
asked for
anymore?
his help.
Bro found a hack, said I'm reporting him. Somebody turned God mode on for this fucker, and I am very disappointed in them. They gave him too much power. Holy shit.
To kill Jack.
Oh my god.
Right.
He apparently went along with it and then immediately went to the police, and now the police are setting up a sting operation
Holy
to catch
shit.
his wife. And now the Maryland State Police need to get Jack on board with this sting operation because
stole
they're planning to murder him tomorrow. So the current murder plot is that the butcher shop employee
honestly,
and a guy named Jerry,
This
who
is
is
bullshit.
Jack's stepdaughter's husband, are gonna sedate him at one of the butcher shops after work. Then while he's
Holy
unconscious,
shit.
they're gonna load him into his car, drive him out to his cattle ranch where he has a little cabin, and then they're gonna meet up with Erlene. She's gonna have the getaway vehicle and the gun. Now, in addition to that, the cops wanted to make sure they had somebody with a gun in the room at all times in case things went sideways. So they had the butcher shop employee go to Erlene and Jerry and was like, hey, I actually know a hitman. And they're like, oh my God, see if he'll help us. And he's like, good news, my hitman buddy said that he would help us. That's the undercover cop. So now there's an undercover cop that they think is a hitman that's just like consulting for them, that's helping them with this operation as well. So the next day rolls around. Sure enough, Jerry calls up Jack and is like, hey, me and some of the butcher shop guys and another one of my buddies are all going to have some beers after work. You should come by. To which Jack is like, absolutely, I'll be there. Jack shows up. Jerry conveniently already has a beer open for him, hands it to him. Jack pretends to take a drink out of it because he knows that there's sedatives in that beer, and then he's like, I gotta go take a piss. He goes over to the bathroom, dumps a sedative beer in the sink, throws away the bottle. He's already stashed another beer bottle in that bathroom. He pulls that out, opens it, goes out, sits at the table, starts drinking with the rest of the guys. As he starts drinking more and more, he kind of starts to act, you know, more and more sedated. He starts kind of like, you know, nodding his head and pretending like he's fallen asleep. He's really selling it, okay? He should have been an actor. And he ends up just, you know, passing out altogether, and he lets these three dudes load him up in his own car. So they're all headed out to the ranch to kill him. The hitman, the undercover cop, decides that he's going to light up a cigarette and have a smoke during the drive, at which point Jerry is like, hey, put out the cigarette. Jack doesn't like people smoking in his fancy car. At which point Jack is pretending to be unconscious, but he's actually fighting for his life to not laugh because, like,
Wait. So the entire op nearly fails because, bro, do all your own stunts a bit? Bro, do all your stunts a bit too far, don't you think? Yeah. And the op nearly fails because the one guy who knows the police officer is there is just like, hey man, don't do that. Jack doesn't like people smoking in his car. Kind of forgetting that for a moment there that they're supposed to be, you know, taking him to the drop-off location to kill him. What the fuck?
Motherfucker, you're murdering me right now, and you're worried about somebody smoking in my car? Like, I don't know, it was just funny to him, so like his belly kind of starts to jiggle a little from laughing, and the undercover cop like smacks his belly secretly to get him to stop, but then he like, you know, oh, this guy's not gonna care for long, ha ha ha. But really, he was just smacking him to get him to quit laughing. I mean, let's face it, at this point, Jack's got plot armor, he knows he's gonna be fine, who cares? So they get to the ranch, they get Jack unloaded and into the cabin, at which point Erlene's not there with the gun, and everybody's kind of like, well, what the fuck? And Jerry's like, oh, I actually talked with her. She's down the street at the gas station. We're gonna go get her. Okay, me and hitman undercover cop guy are gonna hop in the car. We're gonna go pick her up. Butcher shop employee, you stay here. Make sure he stays unconscious. Okay, good. They go to get Erlene. They swing by the gas station. Erlene follows them in her car back to the ranch, at which point they arrive and cops are already there ready to stop the whole scenario. The undercover cop in the car with Jerry pulls his gun out, points it at him, says something cool like, "Ha, gotcha, you son of a bitch." And then the whole crime is over. Erlene had brought a gun, and that was enough evidence to be able to convict her to guarantee that she was actually going to go through with this murder. And here's the kicker. Jack owned a lot of guns. He had a lot of money. He was a veteran. He liked guns. Of all the guns he had, she elected to grab his 38 caliber pistol, his mother's 38 caliber pistol, the same one that he had in the Marine Corps twirling around his finger in the tent that he had accidentally shot off. His most sentimental weapon, and she was going to shoot him in the head with it.
Oh, that is unhinged. She was getting, ooh, that is, no, she was a problem. Holy shit, dude. Going for his own mother's gun. She would have known the backstory behind that thing, too. Like, holy shit, dude. That's scuffed.
And despite that, Jack goes to court and testifies on her behalf because he doesn't want the mother of his kids in prison for 20 years, which is what she was facing, and she gets pleaded down to 10 years of probation. Obviously, they still separate. They get a divorce.
Nah, he's too good for her. Holy shit. Yeah, of course separate. But, like, dude, holy shit.
He ends up moving back to North Carolina, buys a plot of land, sets up a detachable garage, buys a mobile home, and he's just kind of living there. Then him and Erlene's oldest son, Kelly, comes to live with him, and that's what he's got going on. He kind of let everything else in his life go. He's
really
living in this mobile home, and everything just kind of is what it is. Then, before Jack can even get the city to run a water line out to his new mobile home, the neighbor ends up lighting his mobile home on fire with him in it because he didn't want neighbors. So he wakes up in the middle of the night to the smell of smoke. Him and Kelly get out of the mobile home. The entire thing burns completely to the ground. He loses everything, all of his guns, all of his pictures, letters, all of his stuff from his time in the service. And the next morning, the only thing he's able to pull from the ashes of his mobile home is the actual star itself from the Medal of Honor.
Jesus.
This ends up making it into the papers, you know, war hero almost assassinated by his wife, has his house burnt down. Now he basically has nothing. At this point, one of his buddies from Maryland hits him up and is like, "Hey, I got this new property. I'm building a farmhouse out in the country. Why don't you just, you know, come help me with it if you don't got anything else going on?" So he's like, "Okay, fuck it, sure. I mean, I don't have anything else to do." So he goes back to Maryland and he's basically camping at night and then working on this farmhouse during the day.
At this point, I can't even tell if he's the luckiest Marine or the unluckiest. Like, holy shit, dude. So much, somehow, almost as much attempts on his life were made after his time in the service as during it. Like, Jesus Christ.
Hey, him and his son Kelly. They're there for 2 weeks, and then the cops show up and arrest him because this property has a bunch of marijuana growing on it, and they think that he's a marijuana farmer.
Yeah.
Again, this makes it into the papers. War hero, Medal of Honor recipient, caught growing marijuana, and his name's plastered all over the papers, and then it finally ends up getting dismissed in court because they realize, oh, he's only been here for 2 weeks, and these are fully matured marijuana plants. There's no way he was doing this intentionally.
They arrested him within 2 weeks of him arriving because they found marijuana on the property that he just bought. Only to release him less than literally like less than a couple weeks later because they realized, wait, he hasn't even been here that long. These are fully grown. Oh my god. Bro's luck is a full metronome. Yeah. This guy is basically, if plot armor was a person, just wow. Yeah.
Or doing it at all. So he ends up getting let go and the whole thing kind of goes away. But he's like, the dude just can't catch a break. So he ends up.
His buddy owned it. He was just living there. His buddy tried to fall guy him. Oh my god. Or at least something close. What the fuck?
Moving back to North Carolina to his property where his burnt down mobile home was, and now he's living inside of the detached garage. And to make things worse, the IRS starts garnishing all the money he gets from being a Medal of Honor recipient and his disability checks because apparently the situation with Erlene was worse than he had originally thought, and he apparently still owes the IRS money, so they're taking all of his government benefits as well. Once again, the newspapers hear about this, they run with the story. A veterans organization finds out, and they put a ton of pressure on the IRS to fucking fucking knock it off. The dude's a Medal of Honor recipient. He
Good,
shouldn't have
good.
to pay taxes, period, let alone have his fucking benefits garnished because you think he owes you money. The IRS takes so much backlash, they end up giving him his benefits back, and the federal government steps in and ends up making it a law that veterans' benefits are immune to creditors and they cannot be garnished by the IRS whatsoever. After that fiasco, he ends up getting in touch with one of his old friends from the military, and he decides that he's going to go out and visit him in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And while he's there, he absolutely falls in love with the town, and he decides that he's going to move there. He buys a house. He meets a lovely lady by the name of Ruby. He describes her as pretty, smart, and possessing the virtue of unlimited patience. He asks her to marry him, she agrees, and Jack Lucas finally got to live happily ever after. And that is the story of the United States Marine Corps' youngest Medal of Honor recipient, America's indestructible Marine, Jack Lucas. Thank you for watching.
Oh my
Best way to
gosh.
support the channels. Go buy some merch.
I'm so happy he got that happily after.
Quack bang.
Holy
out.
shit. Oh my gosh. That was so good, but like, holy shit. His luck was so back and forth. Like, damn. Holy crap. It took him until he was like 45 to like 50 to be able to have that happily ever after. Like, holy shit. Oh my gosh. Also, it was the wife's fault, so she should have been the one paying the IRS. Hell yeah, she should have been. Like, damn, dude. His wife is the one embezzling and you're trying to go and frisk him for money? Like, what the fuck? Bro looks still full of mischief even when he's 80. Yeah, honestly, he really did. Oh, that was beautiful. I love that. That was... Oh my gosh, that was so good. That was so good. I love that. Oh my gosh. Just indestructible. He definitely feels indestructible. At the very least, there's so many ways that he should have got kaput all the time. The most drastic was definitely the jump, though. 1,200 feet. Not a scratch on him. That is wild. Alright. Let me grab those vids that you guys sent in real quick, and we will see those. Here we go. One from them. Oh yeah, that's my favorite part. Yeah, it is wild. Wild.
Dog goes, cat goes, fox goes, and mouse goes, cow goes, frog goes.
Oh my gosh, wow. But still just wow, I couldn't believe it if it wasn't for the videos. Jesus. Yeah, Timothy, holy shit.
Duck sick, and fish go, I'm under the water, and seal goes, baby.
But what does the goblin say? The goblin says, shiny! And then they go grab the shiny. And then they have the shiny. Because it's their shiny. Also, it doesn't matter if the shiny was in some adventurer's backpack. It is mine now.
What does the bird say? What the bird say? What the bird say?
Hell yeah. Alright, let's grab the one that you sent in. Where's it? Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, short for me. What is this? Oh, little quiet there.
PTSD. This was the first guy I've ever seen that had literally zero PTSD.
Really?
And was just like smiling the whole time. Walter Philippek. There was one, the best line in it though. He's like, they were like, were you ever like afraid while you were there? He's like, no.
It did not bother me. I don't care whether they killed me or not.
I didn't have a girlfriend back home.
I never thought about anything. Didn't have no girlfriends back here then. Didn't have nothing to go to but my family.
All I had was some family. I didn't care if I died.
Damn.
I didn't worry about nothing. And I'm the same way now. I don't worry about nothing right now.
He goes, I didn't care about nothing. I still don't care about nothing.
This never did bother me because, hey, it was war. Kill or be killed.
This guy's incredible. This was the first guy I've ever seen.
You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. Little Little veteran. Holy shit. Dude talks about strangling a Japanese person like it was opening a can of soda. Yeah, you know what? Fair enough for that guy. He's from World War II. That would probably be one of the main prerogatives back then, but damn, dude. That is wild. Holy shit. Like, somehow I've never seen a person with negative PTSD. It's cruelty. It sounds like he misses the war. Holy shit. Hitting me with a metal pipe. Anyway, I gotta dip. Have a good night, Cap. I hope you have a good night, Joel. Let's find somebody to raid out to real quick. Let's see here. Who do we got? Let's see. Saint Cisco just started, apparently. Zombro VT, Leishroom, NTVT, Snowfo is also up, but we raided them just a little bit ago. Well, not a little bit ago, like a couple days ago. Ducky, we raided them yesterday. Let's see. Hey, that's the one you wanted me to raid the other night, Bika. Dozy Kitty. Let's raid out to them real quick. There we go. Control C. /raid. Control V. Alright. Hope you all have a wonderful night/day. I will see you again next time if you have the time. I hope you all enjoy hanging out with Dozy. And I will see you guys tomorrow. If you have the time, of course. Bye-bye! We're going to be playing some more Prey tomorrow. Anybody on YouTube? Timothy, if you're still there, I hope you all have a wonderful night. I'll see you again next time if you have the time. And, yeah. Have a good night, everybody.